Chock Love 1200 Films Podcast, all horror all the time. In the previous episode, I did a little mini expose on boners, stiffies, erections, hard-ons in horror movies. And I mentioned how there was one good movie that had a said boner, erection, stiffy. A movie called Found. And within 1 week of that show airing, guess what Shudder adds to their newly added list? Yes, Found. It's like they listened to the show and said, what? We don't have all the boner movies? So now they do. So they got the whole list of them. So let's get going on this list. Of course, the rating scale on the bottom: dumpster fire, filthy garbage. Then we got can't quite recommend, and then okay if desperate. Put it on the watch list, and then put it on top of the watch list. We got a few from 2021, but let's cover them. Let's see what we got from the first one from 2021, from the Into the Dark Hulu series, Blood Moon. Since Rotten Tomatoes doesn't consider these movies, I had to go to IMDb and it has it as a 5.7 out of 10, which is pretty high for a horror film, or a horror show, as Rotten Tomatoes calls it. Not a movie, but it's a movie. It's an hour and a half. Kitty, shh your mouth. I'm doing a podcast. So, what would you do if you were a single parent and your child was a werewolf? During a full moon at night, he likes to sneak out and do some killing. Sometimes he kills a cow. Sometimes he kills a sheep. And sometimes he kills people. So we pick up with these people when the child is about 10 years old. And when the mother moves into a new house, she has to make a makeshift cage in the basement and throw the child in there during the full moon, so he cannot escape, so he cannot do any killing. And then she finds whatever roadkill she can muster up and on her way around town and feeds it to her child. Fascinating little picture. Original take on werewolves. I enjoyed it. Put it on the watch list. Why not, right? Next one, from 2021, Willy's Wonderland. Critic rating 62, audience score 73. Nicolas Cage. Who didn't say a word during this whole film. His car has car problems, and the mechanic's going to take some time, and Nicolas Cage has nowhere to stay, or he can't afford the car repairs because he doesn't have cash. So they offer him to stay in this arcade, this old Chuck E. Cheese's type deal with robotic creatures, and to stay there and fix it up over the night, and then the owner will pay him. Well, these robotic creatures all have killer spirits in them and are enjoy killing, I guess, because I guess we're led to believe that the owner has been doing this for a long time to feed to feed the spirits of the killers that are inside the mechanical puppets. Boy. And then all these kids break in to try to help Nicolas Cage, and that's where the problems in the film start. Sometimes these creatures, these robotic creatures, can kill you in an instant, but they can't really seem to do much damage to Nicolas Cage. He just kind of just plows right through them. But it's still a fascinating film that needs to be seen. Put it on the watch list. Check it out. It's something you won't forget. This next one I've already forgotten. From 1943, The Leopard Man. Audience, critic rating 90%, audience score 63. Holy mackerel, this does not hold up. Although there were parts of the film that were brilliant. There were subtleties and certain things that went from scene to scene. It's like, wow, that's a pretty intelligent transition there. Wow, that's impressive layering for a horror film. But the last 10 minutes, they decided we're not going to pay this off at all. And kind of robbed you of something good. I don't usually kick on films for a bad ending. If it's good until the ending, it's a good movie. It's a 90% good movie. Just the ending was like, eh. But this one kind of ruined it. It kind of ruined it. Because, I don't know, it just did. My opinion. Put it in the dumpster fire garbage. Dump to the Leopard Man. Sorry. 1980. Mother's Day. Critic rating 42%. Audience score of only 38. This was arguably top 3 trauma movie ever made. Again, my opinion. So mother, she's elderly and she has these 2 sons who are disfigured. And they like to do a lot of rapey rape. So any car that breaks down near their little compound, they kidnap and do what they will. And if you can deal with the rape, this film isn't too bad. It's again, it's trauma. Keep that in mind. This is the people that brought you Toxic Avenger. But as far as that goes, it's still, I thought it was fascinating film. Some good on-screen deaths, I guess. That makes it okay if desperate. Moving on. 2021, The Power. Critic rating 82%, audience score 42. It was dud. So this was set probably 50-some years ago. This new nurse, she's first day on the job, and they're in this old, dark, barely occupied hospital with a handful of patients and a handful of staff, and she's required to do this and that. And guess what? It's haunted, but she's pretty much the only one seeing anything, so that's kind of a problem. And that's what she has to deal with here in The Power. Nothing new, nothing original, nothing I haven't seen before. Stuff I've seen before 100 times. It's all kind of regurgitated here in The Power. Still, it was eerie, I guess. Okay if desperate. No, it's below that. Can't quite recommend. I can't say this is watchable. Next one. 2021, Boys from County Hell. Critic rating 84, audience score 56. Again, when I saw the title, I thought it was about teenage kids in county jail, but that's not the case. Familiar setup. If there is a marker in town where it supposedly has a evil creature, evil spirit buried underneath it, don't go digging it up. Rawhead Rex from the early 80s, it was the exact same premise. There was this big statue, and one of the farmers said, we got to dig this up. And then out comes Rawhead Rex. In this one, and out came this vampire thing. So all the kids, I guess some of the adults too, had to try to fight this thing off before it turned the whole town into vampires. or it killed everyone. But still, well-made film. There wasn't a whole lot wrong with it. It was kind of you can't say original take, but it was a breath of fresh air, I guess, of how they presented it. So I would say, put it on the watch list. It's good enough for that. 1973. The Wicker Man. Critic rating 89%, audience score of 82. Holy Christ, this movie has not aged well. This is the first time I've watched the original. People kept saying, oh, the original's great. Screw that one with Nicolas Cage that came out, 2000 whatever. The original one's where it's at. Bullshit. This old one is a Bacurau musical. This if you've seen the one of either one, you know the story. This reporter goes to this little island of people that are very offish, religious group cult, because someone has been missing for a while, and he's there to investigate. And these people are strange. And when he's at his hotel, there's this next door. There's this naked woman running around, and she just bursts out in a song. Why would I care what she has to sing about? What does she have to do with anything about this movie? Nothing. But that's the kind of things you have to put up with. There are some good scenes where the investigator's digging deep and getting to the bottom of the answer. But then they just break out in random song. Oh, very tough to get through. The ending scene was cool when they're all dancing around, yada yada, and the Wicker Man thing's going on. But geez, I think I'd rather watch the Nicolas Cage one again than watch this one ever again. I don't even want to think about this movie again. Dumpster fire garbage. It's just so off-putting. I just poop. Okay, enough of that. Now time for our feature review of Bacurau / Nighthawk.
¿Por qué você estão fazendo isso?
There's so much you can do with a knife.
Bacurau / Nighthawk. I found it under the Bacurau title, but the translation is Nighthawk, so whatever. Critic rating 93%, audience score of 85. This is a foreign film, but only about half of it's in subtitles. The premise for this is bizarre and fascinating. This group of just people, regular people who are gun crazy, like to sneak up on unsuspecting little villages and murder them all. Well, this one village, who is in the middle of a war-torn country, who is on edge, they're kind of prepared for this. So the mercenary people, the killers, are kind of in for more than they bargained for. And that's what happens here. And this town is it's interesting. It's got a weird blend of people, but some of them are known killers. One of them has a best of YouTube video that the town likes to watch and then rewatch and watch again, of him beating up or killing people. I guess he's a famous hitman who just happens to be back in town visiting. But yeah, fascinating little film. And stars Udo Kier. If you don't know who Udo Kier is, if you look him up, you might recognize him. The first I remember of Udo Kier, I saw him in My Own Private Idaho with River Phoenix and Keanu Reeves. And he was very creepy, very bizarre in that film. But he's been doing movies since the 70s with Andy Warhol. He's been around, but he stays active, and he's still popping them out, apparently. Jesus. But yeah, put this movie on top of the watch list. This is one of the more original films I've seen in a while, and it's well made. So that's enough for that. On the next one, we will have a movie called Evil Speaks. This stars Clint Howard, the little brother of famous director Ron Howard. Hi, kitty. And then we probably have the most prolific horror film that I've never seen that I will finally be watching, Reanimator. Looking forward to that. And then another old one called 13 Ghosts. Not from the 90s or early 2000s, but from like the 50s. This is from like Donna Reed, I Love Lucy era. Yeah, we'll see. Within the third movie in the Fear Footage series, I did both of those first two as a feature review on one episode about 10 episodes ago, probably maybe 15 episodes ago. And they just put out the third one, Fear Footage 3 AM. So looking forward to that. And then one called Killer Man with Liam Hemsworth. A new one they plopped up on Shudder called Time Lapse. One from this year called The Reckoning. And one called The Vigil. So, yep. How exciting. Can't wait. Until then, au revoir.